Muhahaha. So, today we are continuing the spooky, the scary, the spectacular countdown until Halloween. So, today, continuing with this list. Yes, I made a whole list. Today, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 urban legends that turned out to be true. So this isn't for the faint of heart. I must admit some of these actually got me quite spooked and I don't get scared easily. So we're coming in at number 10. So it's the body, the wall. Has said that while renovating a home, a construction worker knocks down a wall to find a skeleton staring back at him. Okay. Well, so this actually happened in 2011 while renovating the second floor of the Abe National Bank in Louisiana. Workers discovered the bones of Joseph Schneider, who had been missing for over 27 years. It is believed that he got stuck in the chimney while attempting to break into the same bank all the way back in 1984. I guess some people just never learn their lessons and, well, he's got some skeletons in the closet. Okay, yeah, that was a pretty lame joke. Okay, so coming in at number 9 is the old woman who was buried alive. So this urban legend is about an old woman that gets buried alive after being declared dead, after which the body is exhumed only for the family to find out that there are scratch marks up on top of the coffin, as well as other signs of attempts to escape. It turns out that premature burials were pretty common in the 19th century. There has also been over 200 documented cases of people being buried alive around this time. So you have to remember that this was during a time when the medical profession was still in its early stages and it wasn't as advanced as it is today. So it kind of was hard for doctors to know whether grandma was asleep or dead. And so the doctors sometimes made the wrong diagnosis. And on another fact, when the first fleet came over here to Australia, the doctors were actually convicts who were trained in just basic training, and so in Australia we also have instances of premature burials. Sorry. Okay, so coming in at number 8 is the quietly dead guy. This is a really disturbing story. It's creepy and it's weird. Okay, so as the story of the urban legend goes, a guy is passed out on the bus and everyone just leaves him alone, assuming that he's sleeping as the bus makes its rounds. So the driver at the end of his shift checks the body only to find out that he was dead. Well, the real story of this is actually a lot worse. In 2011, Robert Young and Mark Rubinson arrive at their friend Jeffrey Jaron's house only to find him passed out, so they decided to load him into a car and go out partying at bars all night. The only problem is that he was dead in the back seat the entire time. They claim that they just thought he was passed out drunk, but it doesn't make sense as to or explain why they used his money or his credit cards. If you see your friend passed out drunk in their own house, you don't take them partying. Just leave the poor guy be, or girl for that matter. Okay, so coming in at number 7 is rain bugs. Okay, so this incredibly creepy urban legend is about a person who wakes up with pain in the air that's progressively getting worse, only to find out that the pain is caused by bugs that have nested deep inside her skull. So in 2013, a 27-year-old woman named Rochelle Harris returned home from a trip to Peru, after which she started hearing scratching noises inside her own head. Oh God. She started experiencing pain and decided to go to the doctors after she saw a fly flew out of her ear. The diagnosis was that a family of 8 flesh-eating maggots had nested deep inside her ear canal. No words, just no words. Coming in at number 6 is Calls from the Dead. This urban legend is about a person that gets multiple phone calls from a family member only to find out later that they were dead when the phone calls took place. This actually happened back in September 12, 2008, when a train crash killed 25 people, one of them being Charles Pack. His family members have reported missing phone calls which had come from Charles' cell phone that had called several of them, a total of 35 times, all of which occurred after he had died. So the family members thought that Charles was reaching out beyond the grave to say goodbye to them, which I think is really sweet, and I kind of hope it is and isn't just some hoax. Okay, so coming in at number 5 is Creatures in the Toilets. So this urban legend is about a man that gets up in the middle of the night half asleep and goes into the bathroom to do his business, only to be bit by a giant rat on the bum. Well, this actually happened in 2007 in Port Oregon. A man named Ian Meyer did just that. A rat had come up through the sewer system and had gotten trapped in his toilet. Well, the man tried to flush it down the toilet, which only made the rat angrier. But he did, however, eventually catch the rat. So that is just a lovely little note. Beware, or to look in the toilet before you actually sit down, because you never know, there might be a rat down there. So number 4, this one creeps me out the most. So this is The Girl in the Shadows. So the urban legend is about a man who feels like he's being watched in the shadows of his own home, only to later discover that there had been someone living in his attic the entire time. So a version of this story did occur because back in 2008, a Japanese man who was living by himself started noticing that food was disappearing and that things were being misplaced. So he set up a secret camera and discovered that a homeless woman had been living in his cupboard for an entire year. The homeless woman would sneak out of the cupboard to steal food and even to have showers. I think what the most scariest moment was when this man was watching the tapes back. The woman was only a few feet away in the cupboard behind him. I probably would have screamed like hell and ran out of that house. The grudge can take over. She can take over that house, but I'm going to get out of there as fast as I can. She can have the house. It's hers. So if you hear little bumps in the night, you never know. You might have an unwelcomed friend in your house that you never really knew about. Thank God I don't have any attics or basements in my house, so I'm pretty much set. Not sure about other people, but that's another little nightmare to give you. So coming in at number 3 is The Killer Policeman. So this urban legend is about a cop who knocks on somebody's door to tell them that there is a murderer on the loose, and when they let him inside, he murders them and chops them up. Well, a similar story happened back in 1974 when a woman named Carl DeRonch was approached in a bookshop by a police officer, except this police officer was the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. he told her that somebody had tried to break into her car. So she went with him, but caught on after he tried to handcuff her. This lady is so lucky. Common sense. Common sense, people. I think that's what helped, her common sense. Because no one got away from Ted Bundy. Except this woman. I'm in awe. Okay, so number 2 is don't drink the water. So the story of the urban legend is about how a person moves into a new home to discover that the water coming out of the taps and the shower head is a weird, dark, black colour, only to discover that it's the remains of a liquefied body. Well, just last year in 2013 in the Hotel Cecil in LA, this exact problem happened. They discovered a liquefying dead body in one of their water tanks. But what's more disturbing is that that water was being distributed to every single room in the entire hotel through the taps and the shower system. It turns out that it was the body of a Canadian student, but they still don't know how he got in there. That's just gross. So coming in at number 1, you would have already heard this urban legend. It was in my previous video in my top 10 scariest urban legends, but it's the kidney thieves and the ice baths. So by far one of the most famous urban legends out there. This is the story of a guy that gets kidnapped, drugged only to wake up in a bath full of ice with scars where his kidneys used to be. Well, disturbingly, this actually happened, but there was no iced baths. So in 2008, a construction worker, Mohammed Saleem, was told that he was hired for a new job. Except when he arrived, he was drugged and knocked out, only to later wake up on a steel table with his kidneys gone. But what's most disturbing is that this is not just an isolated incident. It's basically happening all over the world, and it's on the illegal black market, and that can still be seen in most parts of the world today, such as China, Brazil, and Egypt. Okay, so that was my top 10 scariest urban legends. That turned out to be true. So oh, what is wrong with me tonight? It's too late at night. But tune in tomorrow. I will be counting down the top 10 dark fairy tale versions. So if you're a fan of Disney, like I am, it's actually quite disturbing at how dark most of the original stories for our favorite Disney movies were. So if you're interested, tune in tomorrow for my next video. So peace out and good night, people.